Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Peteman Reviews. Today we have the Combiner Wars version of the Aerialbots. This is the Unite Warriors colour scheme as shown by the original Generation 1 colour schemes. So the fact that we have all 5 Aerialbots out here means that we are going to be building Superion this time, and we'll get an idea of how this Combiner both can be built and the size of it. As you can see, the Aerialbots by themselves all look very impressive in their different formats, and then it's just a question of putting them together and making sure that they form our combiner. So, obviously, Silver Bolt is the central part of the combiner, so we'll just put him to one side for the moment. So we're going to be building him from the feet upwards. These guys here, Slingshot and Fireflight, are the arms of the combiner, which leaves us with Air Raid and Skydive forming the feet of the combiner. There is a little bit of leftover items. We'll see if we can find a home for him on some of the guns on Superion. But to begin with, we'll start by just taking off the excess weapons that we need. So take away that gun. We'll hang on to this missile launcher or gun for the second. Same deal with here. The reason we hang on to these is because these now form the feet of Superion. They could form the hands as well, the parts are there for both, however we're going to go with the feet. So what you want to do to begin with is the thumb section, for want of a better word, or the claw perhaps, comes out like that, and that forms us our base. The actual combiners themselves are relatively simple to do. I think I'm going to put it this way round. So what you ultimately need to have is it goes this way round, but you want to need to make sure that all these parts come out so you can attach it to Superion. So we'll transform him first, and then we'll add him onto the feet. So to begin with, you do need to do a partial transformation to be able to get all the parts out, and then go back. So we just pulled this out of it. We're not doing anything more with it because we want to get this item here out. The cockpit of the plane comes all the way back, as you would if you were normally transforming him. Again, you do need to just do a partial transformation with the legs here, just to be able to get everything out safely. That flips in there. We now need to just rotate this around. So you want to have it back with this bit here. The head sticking out, I think it's probably easier just to put the head that way, just so that it doesn't look quite so odd when you view it from the rear of Superion. We now just need to put the legs back how we got them, because they don't need to be out in the combined robot. So if you remember how you did that before, again it's relatively simple mode. Just go back like that and click in. Same with this side. So it's back to how they were when they were in jet mode. And like so. Now you do just flip the tail fins forward here, like so, and the wings also go forward, or they pop off. It's fine if they do pop off, they do just slot back on. The wings just go up like that, and the arms just go back as well. You see there's a tab there, a little gap on the arms, and it just tabs into place. Same deal with this side as well. Okay, so we are now pretty much there. That just goes into a hole there, like so. And there we are. That is our first leg of Superion. His right leg is now ready. So it's exactly the same on this side as well. So you want to perhaps just start by just popping the arms out a bit. Partial transformation of the leg. Again, it's just so that we can make sure we get all the parts out that we need. All the way back for the jet, for the cockpit part, as we would normally. We're going to flip the head round so it's that side, because then when we rotate it, it's not going to look too silly from the other side. Legs then go back the way you found them. So it's back as they were before, and then the arms tuck back in as they were. These tail fins then go up. For this, I am just going to bring these up a bit like that, and then round. It's just because if they're like that, you could have it like that, but I'm just going to bring them up so it's that side. It just seems a bit bit more in keeping with that guy then as well. And exactly the same here. There we go. So that better English than that would be, that is the legs of Superion. So we're just going to pop those away for the moment. As what I want to do now is the middle section of Superion. This is probably, it's not challenging, but this is probably the more complex element, because you have to change Silverbolt in quite a few different ways to make it work. So just take off the weapon at the moment. We don't need that at this stage. It is very firmly in there, which I guess is good. It's less good when you're trying to take them apart. As you can see, the parts there. Go. So that's the weapon taken off. So to begin with, you do the partial jet transformation as you would if you were normally doing him. Now remember, Silverbolt was up like this way, so you had these parts as his arms, these parts down here as the legs. For Superion, it's the other way up, surprisingly enough. So these parts becomes the legs. So you just want to rotate these round. So it's like that way, down like that, down like that. I guess if you're talking about knees, you want him to be that way, so he could potentially have a knee. The hands then flip all the way up. And you see, these are your interlocking parts that you create your guide with. Your guide with being the technical term, of course, for putting the parts in their correct slot. So what we now need to do is finishing our robots. So they go up like that. We're nowhere near done on this, but you get the idea. Again, we're just going to flip these gold parts out of the way, because this is for the arms here. See? Exactly the same kind of lock. That goes down, and then you've got the lock for the arms there. So this is the Scramble City, effectively, combiner. With these parts, any combiner you've got, be it Autobot, be it Decepticon, that has this kind of locking mechanism, can go in. It's got to say, it's a lot more robust than it is from the G1 variety, which is just I suppose a peg and a hole, the peg being of course the Autobots or the Transformers head. These actually give you something to clip into place and a bit more solidly kept in place, which is good. So the chest part here now does slide up. You can see there's a little hinge there. Sometimes it's easier to operate than others. It's not exactly. There we go. Oh, that's not what I needed to do at all. There we are. It's trying to figure out where the gap is. It's where the horns are, because within Superion, or within rather our Transformer, is actually the head of Superion. Yeah, I know. I have of course got the head the wrong way round. It's actually a very clever idea, because it means that you don't ever lose the head. And by the way, there's a gap there. You can see the tail fin for this pit here to slot into. So if you're ever unsure about it being the right height, it actually slots in like that. I've got to say, it's a good idea on that. So you're now going, well, there's this great big gap here. Not so. This then flips out like that, and it will flip over like so, and it will lock in place. But you've still got this hole here first, so you just need to sort that out before you put these up. And so this part here just needs to change around a bit. So again, it's a little bit fiddly, because it's actually just above this white part, just above the Autobot symbol, that flips up like that. So you flip that up first, then you can bring these across, because they go in front of it, like so. And now you have the core of Superion. These are flexible rubber, so if you think if your copy's not very sturdy, it's meant to be like that. I guess it's a health and safety thing, but it's not a problem at all. So in terms of interlocking the legs, very simple. So you've got, that's flexible up, you've got two cores there. You can quite easily see on here, you've got the gaps here, up and in. That's all there is to it. If you're a bit worried about these looking a bit silly and out of the way there, you could just flip it down like that if you wanted. I suggest you might as well leave it up like that. It doesn't make any difference to your finished model. And exactly the same on this side, so that just slots into place. Okay, so we are now more than halfway there. It's a definite recognisable Superion, a bit taller than the camera shot, so just move that up a bit. Okay, so what we now need to do is put the arms on. Before we put the arms on, you might notice a couple of slots here on the legs. Good place to stick the weapons in now, so that you either don't have to do it or you don't lose them. You can do either, and that just gets them out of the way. You can rotate them down if you want to give Superion extra firepower. Not a bad thing if he's up against some of the bigger Decepticons, or you can just flip them up like that. I'm just going to leave them up like that for the moment. Nice little storage spot there, so you don't lose some of the weapons. So, we'll move Superion to the back. We've now got our final two, Slingshot and Fireflight. I actually think I'm going to put them the other way round. The Slingshot on this side, Fireflight on this side, just to keep him in the right colour scheme. Once again, take off the... These will now be the hands. It could be feet, they're interchangeable. I want to take off the guns as well and get them out of the way, see if we can find a home for them later as well. So to make the hand, quite simple. This part here comes out, so it starts off like it would be a foot, but bear in mind this is now going to be a thumb. So what you need to do, flip out the hand like that. This comes around like that, and that goes up like that. So it matches your thumb, your hand as well. Got to say, the hands and feet are a little bit of a letdown of the combiners. I guess it clearly is a hand, but it's just a hand. Only just, because there's so much of this bulk on it. The fact that they're interchangeable, I don't think does them any favours. I think it'd be a lot better if this was just a hand and you could move some of this stuff away so it looked more like you had fingers rather than just, they're just appearing. Nevertheless, it works. Probably got them the wrong way around because his thumb needs to go on that side if this is going on the side there. As you can see, they're very interchangeable from a left hand to a right hand. So we do the same on this one. Move that up out of the way, and because of where it needs to be, flip this around. This will now need to be on that side, and that goes down. And actually, if you wanted a home for the other weapons, you see there's a slot there where they will very nicely go in there to give Superion yet more firepower. He doesn't need it, but why not? Just make sure that he's not overpowered. There we go. He does have a slot under there, so if you wanted, you could have these as underhand weapons rather than overhand weapons. I don't know if they're words, but hey, just made them up as such. You could even have them both on one hand if you wanted. So what it means is there's always slots for his weapons, which is great. It means you've got no excess kibble, you're not going to lose anything. I think I am going to take both of them, thinking about it, because we've also got this gun to put into place. I'm going to put them both on one hand. There we are. Just so we don't lose them. And it also makes sure that he's fine with those. Now, for the arms, for Superion, you do need to do a little bit more transformation for them to give him that flexibility. It's not much more. So we start off by moving the landing gear up. What have we done before in all the others? We've always got the legs partially transformed. Now you go a little bit further with these because, as I say, you are going to need all of them. So flip up, flip down. At this point, we are going to put them back into position in this phase here, so they're a bit more out of the way. Get these up, ping it so that it falls on the floor. It's fine. It's all meant to do that. Obviously, we'd rather it didn't, but if it does, you just pop it back in place like that. That also needs to go out of the way. So see what we've made here, this is where the hand goes in. What we're also doing now is we're making sure that we've got a joint, an elbow. So we'll start off by making sure the rest of him goes in. Now because of where this connects, like that, you want this to come out halfway. Now in terms of an elbow, move these around, and you have the elbow. The arms do kind of get a little bit in the way here. Which it's a bit of a pain, to be perfectly honest. it depends on very much how much flexibility you want your Superion to have. I would suggest you leave the arms up like that and rotate the legs so it's a bit like this. We'll just move the wings out of the way. I think that's probably easiest to demonstrate. So you do have that kind of, that movement with the arm, with an arm, but with its Superion arm. Probably, because if you have it this way round, ultimately I guess it's up to you. But if you have it that way round, you don't have as much movement. With that way round, you do have a bit more. It is ultimately up to yourself a bit on this. And then it's probably handier to stick this into Superion now. See, it just slides into place like that. So you then get an idea of where to put the hand so that it doesn't look odd. Okay, so you can, of course, with this kind of movement, he can rotate his arm quite a lot. It's like the same thing now with the other guy. So, flip the landing gear up, pop out the arm, Might as well flip this up now while we're here. Pop these out, pop these down, then we'll reconnect them. Pop up the cockpit into there, wings go up, pop the tail fin as well before we forget, and then this comes out halfway. It's going to be a pain, I can see. For some reason this one's a bit stiffer to move. There we are. I wonder why that is. Never mind, it's out now. So remember, this is going this side, so it kind of would be nice to make them look similar. There we are. So, back again there. I'm just going to move this down a bit here so that it's out of the way. And then you want this gun, or this hand, to go in like so. I say like so. There we go. Is Superion quite ready? Not yet. You just need to put in the final weapon here. It is actually in its right form. When it goes on to be used on Superion, on Silverbolt even, I'll get the name right eventually. That's it, that's all you need to do. And this just slots into that other gun spot that we had before. And there we are. Superion in all his glory. He's a big guy. How big is he? Well, let's get out our trusted G1 Power Master Dreadwind and commemorative vision of G1 Optimus Prime. He towers over them, and it feels good. That he should do. Remember, the other guys were all a little bit shorter than those guys. With the exception of Silverbolt, they were all a little bit shorter than Prime and Dreadwind, but in the combined form they are taller. Hey, it's a combiner, I'd be disappointed if it wasn't. So that feels very good. And in terms of scale with the G1 combiners, here's Piranacon. Not exactly a tall guy. Piranacon was always one of the shorter combiners. Obviously this is the commemorative edition, slightly more chroming. But if I just put them so that they're next to each other as well, side by side. Piranacon's got the bigger head, but he's a bit of a short ass, isn't he, compared to Superion. And that feels right. And unfortunately, for Piranacon's point of view, that's true of pretty much all the G1 combiners. They're not all as short as he is. Notably, Devastator G1 and Superion G1 were taller. Obviously, Predaking I didn't have, but Predaking was a big guy. The new third-party review that I did earlier on is much bigger again, but it feels that's pretty much the normal scale. The new Combiner Wars combiners are taller than the original ones, and that's a good thing because they should be taller. You don't want a combiner, that's barely taller than the original, barely taller than a normal robot. I mean, it works, sure, they combine, nothing wrong with that, but you're kind of thinking, what's the point? This guy, Superion, now that's the point, isn't it? You want someone who's big. So we'll just move Piranacon and Prime out of the way. So in terms of flexibility, well, he does have the joints of the others, so he does have the ability for his leg to come off. So that's something you just need to watch off there. Because these joints do have flexibility like that, but because of the way they are, they can sometimes slot out. It's not a big problem, but it does give him a knee. Most combiners never had a knee before, and he's got the waist as well, so he can walk. He can rotate the arms. Again, you just need to make sure of how this goes here. And because of the waist here, he has an elbow. In fact, he has a more flexible elbow than you or I do. But that does give him the function to have an elbow. I know on some of the instructions they say you should put these back up. I haven't, because I feel that it gives a better proportion. If you look at where his hand is, it's just below his waist, which is where it is on humans as well. I know he's a robot, he's not human, obviously, and he's a toy, but it feels like it's a better proportion to it. And it gives him that ability to rotate his arm like that. If I move him back a little bit, you get a bit more of an idea. In terms of detail, obviously you've got the bendy bits here, which I guess both stop it snapping off and also its health and safety. I'll just move his arm back down a bit. It's good detailing on the chest, isn't it? Given that there's no extra bits, what you see here is what you get. Everything has a place, both in the individual modes and the combined form. There's nothing left over. It's good. It means you're not likely to lose stuff. It feels like it all connects together. The face is a really good original style, G1 style detailing. It works, doesn't it? It feels like it's a big toy. It feels like it's a well put together toy, and lots of movement to it. Just take a pause here, just have a quick look at the instruction manual. As you can see, very nice artwork on the front. You can try and put your Superion in that pose if you want, but you will have to hold him. The instructions are nice and clear. It's not always the case, but these are nice and clear. And interestingly, or not, as the case may be, they really emphasise the Scramble City style. So it tells you how to transform each of them into both a foot and a hand. So that's quite nice. And it also tells you all about where the different combiners can go. For those of us who don't understand the different the foreign lettering, it does give you the English names, so Air-Aid, to help you identify. And the picture, okay, it's black and white, but you can identify which transformer it is here, and it just tells you the different numbers and where they go. And just finally on the back, it's a very nice piece of Generation 1 style artwork, taken from obviously the Generation 1 cartoon itself. I know it's not actually a direct picture from the cartoon, but it fits in very well with how it should do. I don't know what this says. Maybe it tells you a little bit about the history. Barbecue, I'm guessing, means it's something like Energon Barbecue. Just a guess, might not be, but looking at what they're doing at the picture, yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? You've got big Metroplex in the background, all of them in their G1 style colourings as well. And actually, I know they've probably taken it from the G1 artwork and then modified it to the actual Unite Warriors colours, but the colours on here are identical to the toy colourings. So that's a nice bit of detail that's really good to see for it. So, there we have him, the Unite Warriors version of Combiner Wars Superion. Definitely worth getting. For me, this feels like the definitive version of Superion. It's how Superion should always have been. He's big, he's very, very flexible, he's well put together, the colour scheme is good, the attention to detail is excellent. I really do like the fact that every single part of him, both in terms of the weapons, where his head goes, is stored away within Silverbolt. Every single part is used. You don't have any bits left over at all, and they do all fit on the robot. It's you know over time stuff can get lost. Guns can get lost, particularly small guns. Particularly small guns that belong to the interior shell of Thunderwing and end up appearing on eBay for 60, 70 quid for a gun. That's not going to happen with these guys, or rather it's less likely to happen with these guys because everything has a place. It all fits, you don't have any bits left over. You don't have a bag of leftover kibble. It all fits on the robot, and I like that. So, it's very nice toy, very well put together. Pick one up, why not? It looks good, it's easy to assemble, you'll enjoy it. So, thank you very much for watching. Please do leave any comments below. Please click on the other links and we'll see you for the next edition. Thank you. Goodbye.